Hey everyone, what's going on? I wanted to run down some of the new features on the new Smackdown game. In 2011, they've taken many steps forward. It's honestly the best Smackdown game I've played in years. There's also a couple of surprising steps backward. It's a couple of odd decisions, but we'll get to that stuff in a minute. So I wanted to jump right in and start talking about Story Designer, which is the big thing to me. So I'm also not cutting around too much, so I'll let you see the game as it's displayed here. So the storyline mode is probably the thing I used the most, and anyone who's watching wrestling and thinking, "Oh, I could do better," this is definitely the mode for you. So anyone who played last year and was real deep into story mode, nothing, the structure of it is pretty much the same. What they've done is they added a few new scenes, not a huge amount of stuff, but what they did add was branching storylines. So on top of the regular scenes that you'd have, where you can insert them in between matches and set up an entire night of Raw or SmackDown or Superstars or a pay-per-view or whatever, you can also insert you can also either set up a storyline so that you're letting someone else play. So you can essentially build your own road to WrestleMania, where they actually have decisions that will impact the rest of the storyline, depending on how you set it up. Now, there's two different ways you could do that. Right here, you just see a standard regular scene. So Edge cuts a promo, Jericho comes in and interrupts it. They both beat the hell out of each other. That's pretty much straight out of last year. That's not new. But if you access the branching storylines menu, one of the first ones I saw was a ref counting a pin. Now, let me see if we can go into that real quick here. All right, so you see the second option there is branching storylines. Now there's 2 or 3 different options where anyone who's done programming is pretty much familiar with this. You choose the scene you want. So let's say you want to see if the ref the count the pin option there. Now you can watch how everything's set up. So the ref gets bumped, Undertaker's down. Now Shawn's going to go and grab this chair. And the animation's going to freeze right here. Now at that point you have the option to just have that animation stop if you have only choices. So you have the option to make that animation just stop and move on from there, or give choices for the animation. So you can go into the choices option, and I'm not exactly sure. I think 3 is the limit, but I'm not sure. It's usually like a yes/no. Do you want that person to do this or not to do this? And then you move on from there. And the branching storyline editor, you can give 2 separate options based on that, and then have the story move on from there. So that's pretty cool. You can have a lot of fun with that, and it gives a lot of depth to the storyline editor. One of the big features is, if you've been a fan of the series, it's pretty head scratching when there's never any downloadable content for the game. Last year there was none, and the year before that I think the biggest addition we got was Vader, Doink the Clown, the Bushwhackers, things like that. So off the bat, midnight release, you brought the game home, and you can jump right on Xbox Live or the PSN network, and you can start downloading new characters, new costumes, things like that. There's going to be at least 3 downloadable packs. I'm not sure beyond that. But that first night, there was a pretty hefty amount of stuff all ready to go, and later on the Nexus is going to be in there, NXT Arena, things like that. There's also a Superstar stat editor, so if you want, you can make guys like John Cena and Randy Orton job out to your creator wrestlers. The next downloadable pack, I believe, is going to be available this holiday season. So that could be anywhere between probably Thanksgiving and Christmas. Probably closer to Christmas, with the last downloadable content sometime probably in February or March. But that's a lot of little things like alternate costumes and things like that. Nothing huge. No, I think a WCW arena is in the works, and different costume for Shawn Michaels and John Cena. I think you get his purple shirt if you like. A lot of things a lot of little things they've done was those little bumper cards you saw. They're in between load screens. Different the Slammy Award winners for this last year. Little did you know facts. Little things like that. But the load screens are never really that long, so you won't be staring at it too much. One of the strange steps backwards that I had mentioned earlier in this video is their decision to take out your option to change skin tone. Now you can change they have a lot of default skin tones you can choose from, as you see right here. So you can make your character look like the Hulk if you want, but making a convincing Asian man is kind of tough, because they give you that weird yellow skin tint. But that's it. Like, you don't have any shading options. You can add shine, as you see down at the bottom of the screen, but you can't add change the tone or darkness or lightness of the skin tone. So it's really kind of weird. Everyone being individual snowflakes that they are, it's kind of tough to pinpoint a skin tone with just that top row is pretty much all you're going to be using if you're making regular people. Beyond that, if you're making superheroes or comic book characters or monsters or whatever, that's fine. The next two lines down are for you, but that top row, that's a little unrealistic. I'm hoping they're going to patch that or something, but other than that, the Creator Wrestler is exactly the same as last year, with very few additions being made to that, but it's pretty deep anyway. So what's now become the standard in these Smackdown games is the Road to WrestleMania. I believe this is the third year it's in the game. Of course, there's going to be a John Cena and a Rey Mysterio, but the Christian storyline is actually pretty good. Undertaker's is in there, and you get to play as Chris Jericho. I'm glad it's not the same guys, Randy Orton. I mean, of course they had to throw John Cena in the game, so I mean that's pretty standard. And we got a couple of minutes left, so let's look at a match. They've changed a few of the key mechanics, and anyone who's been keeping up with the game, I'm sure you've already read or seen videos about the grappling system making a change. The big thing with that is they went to a chain grapple system, which is a minor. It's kind of a minor pain in the ass if you're trying late in the match. You're trying to get something going, and someone's really good at reversing. So you have to start with an arm bar or something like that, and then chain grapple that into something a little better. Now, usually it's just a 2-move chain, and then later on you can pick someone up, and while they're groggy, you can do something. It's already going to transition into something bigger without the chain, but you have to wait, and it has to be later in the match. So both opponents have to, it has to be later in the match, like 2-3 minutes. Right here you see, now you can reverse small cradle pins, things like that. You saw earlier you could put someone in a Tree of Woe. You can now that's by pressing down on the stick for grappling, whereas before that was a move. Now it's just putting someone in the Tree of Woe. You can also press up while they're on the turnbuckle and pick them up and have that be setting them up for a superplex or something off the top rope, and that's also you'll get to change what move that does in the Creator Wrestler moveset. The Universe mode is very impressive. If you haven't read anything about that, there you go. That's part. Now what happens in this match continues on for the story. So whatever happens in this match in your universe, that will continue. Beyond that, that's pretty much it. I highly recommend, if you're a Smackdown fan, you probably already own the game or plan on getting it. It's like the Madden for wrestling fans. So I hope you guys enjoy it, and let me know what you think.